It's time for Wrestling for the Culture, where we take a look inside to see what the wrestlers of color have been doing this week. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this edition of Wrestling for the Culture. I'm your host, Brian H. Waters. You know where to find the Wrestling Realm, but if you don't, look right on your screen where you can follow us at Wrestling Realm on Twitter and Instagram. Of course, we're on Facebook. Make sure you are subscribed to the Facebook fan page and the Facebook group. Speaking of subscriptions, click download to subscribe to the Wrestling Realm. And if you're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Anchor, or Podcoin or Podbean, make sure you are subscribed there as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, Wrestling for the Culture this week, we're actually going to get start off on a sad note, as one of our beloved photographers, Mr. Lyle C. Williams, has passed on. He passed away this past Sunday, June 2nd. And for anybody who's been in the Mid-Atlantic area, the East Coast, you may have seen him. You definitely, even if you're a wrestling fan, you've seen his work. If you're a fan, whether it's the independents, whether it's the WWE, because Lyle was one of those photographers who captured great moments that his stuff was not only used on the internet, but it was used in PWI. It was used by, I believe some of his stuff been used by the WWE, especially capturing guys who were at the ECWA tournament or CZW, the girls at WSU. Lyle was right there. I had the pleasure of knowing and working beside him a few times. First time I actually met Lyle was at an RCW show. I remember we were watching a Mia Yim match. I believe the match was Mia Yim and Kimberly, and he was just giving Mia Yim her praises. We also, when I went to work at WSU, he was there, and we just, even though when I had met him before, it was kind of like, a brief high. I was still, this is when the Wrestling Realm was first starting, the real Dwayne Allen. I was hitting the circuit, but then by this time in WSU, this is 2015, 16, 17. I got a chance to talk to him, and every time I would be at the show, I got a chance to pick his brain, whether it was about the business, whether it was about photography. He would see me, and one of the cool things, like by me doing social media, he said, "All right, man, you go ahead and get that shot. I'm gonna sit back." He didn't mind passing on the knowledge. A lot of times when you're doing creative, no matter if it's photography, videography, it's competition somewhere down the line. But with Lyle, it was never that way. He would get his pictures. He would make sure you got your pictures. He would talk to the wrestlers. Everybody respected him. You saw the outpouring of love for this man on social media on Sunday. I mean, it caught me by surprise. I knew the brother was sick, but obviously, was praying for him. So my heart, it goes out to his family, goes out to his friends and the wrestling community, because we definitely lost a great one. You wouldn't see anybody say anything bad about him. Like I said, he was a photographer who knew how to capture the wrestlers, but he knew how to not get in the way, and he would teach you how to not get in the way and keep yourself protected. Shout out to my brother Hugh, who a lot of times when I was doing the social media ringside, Hugh would be doing the photography for kind of more polished posts that we would use later for the social media. And he would work aside Lyle, and those two, Lyle would give him pointers. So he never hesitated to give anybody pointers, or never hesitated to lend and help a hand. So my family goes, my prayers and condolences goes out to his family as well as everybody. And I'm just happy that I got an opportunity to meet him. So let's move on. One of the things I wish I could have had an opportunity to talk to Lyle about was the WWE Champion, Kofi Kingston. Yes, the black WWE Champion, who went home to Ghana this week. And if you're on YouTube, you'll see right there, I have a few of the pictures where we saw Kofi meeting up with a lot of the leaders over there and being to have a sitting WWE champion in Ghana, in his home country, is just amazing. This is something, right there's a picture where it says he's our hero. A lot of people say, oh yeah, Kofi's going to win the championship and then he's going to lose it right away, But these are the things. Not only are we getting Kofi who's able to do this, you're seeing a lot of people saying this is what a babyface WWE champion looks like. Shout out to Will Mahoney from the Big Gold Belt podcast who said, care to say that Kofi isn't being booked as a strong champion. This is what a champion does. He goes out and speaks among the people, goes to different places. We saw this a lot with Bret the Hitman Hart. So Kofi is definitely a champion we can all be proud of. Let's move on. NXT TakeOver was this past week. And of course, they delivered, folks, as we have brand new tag team champions, and their names are the Street Profits. They won a fatal 4-way tag team ladder match, and if you haven't seen it, I suggest you go look at it. I'll go ahead and say it. I said it to my friends. I'll put it out there. I thought that if they didn't win these titles, that I thought Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins was time for them to split up. I'm going to say this. Montez Ford is the Shawn Michaels of the group. Maybe I'll be proven wrong. I mean, I'll give you one. I was proven wrong with Teddy DiBiase Jr. and Cody Rhodes. I thought DiBiase was this guy. But, it's hard not to, right? When they're not brothers, it's hard not to look at who's the Mario Jannetty and who's the Shawn Michaels. Look at Miz and Morrison. I was wrong about that too, not going to lie. But right here, I'm happy to see these brothers win the tag titles. We saw them win tag titles at Evolve, part of that WWE Evolve relationship. So to see the Street Profits finally getting it done. And of course, they had to take a picture with Papa Triple H, right? So you see Triple H and the Street Profits with the solo cups. One of the things I knew, I said, all right, I saw the fans with the solo cups. I said, these guys are over. It is time, So congratulations to them. No, they are not Crime Time 2.0. Also, this didn't happen on TakeOver. Yeah, I got the rundown mixed up a little bit, but so what? But speaking of the Street Profits, Montez Ford, his fiance, I apologize. His wife, Bianca Belair, saw her first pinfall defeat this past week, or I should say last week on NXT, as she fell to the homie Mia Yim. Mia Yim getting it done, pinning Bianca Belair using the hair. So congratulations to Mia Yim, who also just dropped a new shirt on WWE.com. So, it's on WWE Shop. It's soon to be on shop.com. Can't wait because I will have one. And then, speaking of Bianca, she did her thing. They had the PC Combine, Performance Center Combine, and she blew the rest of the ladies out of the water, getting, the lowest score was the highest, ranked you the highest, really not the most. I don't watch too many combines, to be honest with you, but this was wrestling, so I had to watch it. So she had a score of 15, and the next person had a score of 61, so that let me know that they was going by the lowest score, and she blew them out the water. So congratulations to Bianca Belair getting it done, proving that she is one of the most pure athletes in the WWE NXT. So congratulations to the Velveteen Dream getting it done, retaining his NXT North American Championship as he defeated Tyler Breeze. You can see right there, he forced him to take a selfie during the match, and then afterwards the two would have a real selfie. So congratulations, because the Dream is still going. So let's move on. R-Truth, folks, he's still the 24/7 champion. R-Truth went out there this past week. He lost the title, actually, to Jinder Mahal, but then he would regain it back. So he lost it on the golf course, regained it back, and then this past week on Monday Night Raw, Cesaro went to pull out a table, and there was R-Truth laying on the table. He's just been doing a great job just trying to hide from everybody. But, we're going to see how long he's going to last as the 24/7 champion. I also want to give a shout out to WWE. as you know, the WWE legend Samu, head shrinker Samu, has been suffering with liver cancer. He's been diagnosed. But WWE sent a few wrestlers, Samoa Joe, Cassius Ohno, to participate in a couple of NXT stars, to participate in the Samu Memorial Show. So congratulations to them. Congratulations to them on raising the money, and obviously our hopes and prayers go out to Samu. Keep fighting, brother. I've had the opportunity to meet him as an interview out there floating. I had the opportunity to interview him on a previous show that I was on. So obviously thoughts and prayers go out to Samu. So now let's move on to our independents. So we're going to start off. We're speaking of the Samu show at the WXWC4 show. We saw a new WXWC4 Diamonds Division champion. Her name is Miss Carissa Rivera. So congratulations to her becoming the new WXWC4 Diamonds Division champion. Moving on. So, shout out to my boy Dr. D. Y'all know Doc by now. He was hitting me up, letting me know about all kinds of promotions this past week. We actually spent a good amount of time on the phone. Right here, you'll see him pictured with the one and only Miss Savannah Evans, where he was at the promotion. I believe it was called Cosplay Wrestling. So, yeah, Cosplay Wrestling, where we saw a couple of people dressed up. And so right here with Savannah Evans, she played the role of Lena Kane. And then we also saw the big swole Ariel Monroe, who, let's see. Oh, yeah, she was playing as X-Men's own Storm. So I know somebody's sitting there yelling at me because I wanted to make sure I had that right, that she was Storm. But I was reading a couple of things, and she also retained the FSCW Women's Championship. So Fantasy Super Cosplay Wrestling is the name of the promotion. She retained the championship this past weekend while she played the role of Storm. So Doc also hit me up, told me about ACW, Adrenaline Championship Wrestling's Reggie Rivers King of Maryland tournament. And they opened up with TJP taking on Ruckus. And he's told me that this was a show that set the tone for the night. TJP, of course, went over. I ain't gonna say of course, because that make it seem like Ruckus is a slouch. But he did. He went over. And another match, we saw Chris Slade versus Alan Clabo. So Chris Slade went over in this, and from what they tell me in the finals, Doc said it was Chris Slade just coming up short against TJP, who would become the King of Maryland. But he said the biggest thing, and what I also saw on the internet and from my boy Blake Thomas, that Chris Slade went over big time and had the people on their feet on this night. So sometimes, folks, you can go over just as much in a loss as a win, and we saw that with Chris Slade here at ACW. Another congratulations goes out to Kiera Hogan, who is the new RCW Forever Women's Champion. So Kiera continues to add gold. This time, she's actually called the Angels Champion. Make sure I got that right. She defeated Barbie Hayden. So congratulations to Kiera. Oh, I guess they call it. The belt says Angels Champion, but on the graphic it says Women's Champion. Nonetheless, Kiera is the champion. Congratulations to her. Some news for you, as Shad Gaspard is out and he's wrote a movie script, and it looks like it's I'm not sure how the movie scripts work, to be honest with you, but I was on his Instagram and he says, these are his words: "I'm so blessed," tear emoji. "I now have 2 scripts on the blacklist with an 8 score. This one's titled Pinfall Series. Pinfall TV Series is the Twitter handle, the Instagram handle, so I'm going to follow that right now, and I'll watch the trailer later." Continue. my hashtag wrestling TV drama, hashtag pinfall, about the ups and downs in the lives in professional wrestling and the backstage politics that can make or break your career. So congratulations to Shad Gaspard. If you go in his Instagram, you can see the image. You can also see, like, I guess the ratings they do. It's a 62-page script. You got the strengths, the weaknesses, the prospects, and then he also writes out some character traits to let you know the name and what there's story behind them. And then there's a part that says Wrestling Scandals and Stories 101. It has Hogan, a picture of Hogan with the steroid trial. Another, Sonny passed around for drugs. Chris Benoit's murder-suicide. And one says Superfly murderer. Lita sex to the top. Love triangle being Edge, Lita, and Matt. Ric Flair plane crash. Heart condition, talking about Brian Pillman. And UK stabbing, talking about Sid Justice, and there's some other things. So make sure you check that out, folks. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it. I know Wrestling for the Culture arrived late this week. I was on vacation. Went on vacation with my family, but, you know, I got it to you in time, so make sure you check out this week's episode of Break It Down with Brian H. We also have coming up the WWE Super Showdown. I think that's what they call it over there in Saudi Arabia, which is kind of interesting because that's what they called it in Australia. But nonetheless, WWE Super Showdown, they have a show coming up this Friday, so there may or may not be a preview, but there will be a post show for that. And of course, the real Dwayne Allen and I have tons and tons of content on the Wrestling Realm YouTube channel, so make sure you have subscribed. You may have seen the latest where I had to cut the lights on him because he got a little too anxious wanting to be the Nature Boy Ric Flair. So, ladies and gentlemen, until the next time, I am Brian H. Waters. So long, everybody. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for this week's episode of Wrestling for the Culture. For more episodes or more content from the Wrestling Realm Network, hit the subscribe button down low. Make sure you turn on the bell for notifications. Till the next time, too sweet.